Good evening to our social work policy class. My name is Tyrone D. Young, here to present my policy brief, which is mass incarceration on African American males. And I hope to accomplish why our black men are constantly in, being incarcerated at a high level. According to our statistics from the NAACP, black men are incarcerated more than any other minority or majority race in the United States. Um, that have built prisons all over the United States. I'm not saying just only for our men, but more prisons are being built because African American males. Our NAACP statistic uh, shows that after the Civil War, during the Reconstruction period, slave patrols were placed by multiple Southern groups who were empowered to control and deny access to equal rights. So right then and there, it tells me that black men were challenged in their opportunity to live because of their race. And with that being said, our policing policy have targeted our young black men, especially to break up the family structure in the black family. And today I want to present to you of how this came about as a plan. I don't know if you are familiar with the Jim Crow era, but back in way back in time, our political government and has targeted our young black men and built more prisons around the United States so that they could be incarcerated to tear up the black man. Our Jim Crow era was more about uh, taking and denying the rights of a black man and placing them in behind prison bars so that the structure of the black family could be torn down. Now, today things are done totally different. An author called Michelle Alexander wrote a book, and it's called "The New Jim Crow Law." In today's society, the Jim Crow era is being repeated, but it's called the New Jim Crow. And now that we are facing this uh, uh, pandemic of black men and the new Jim Crow era. And what I want to explain to us who are watching this podcast is that um, the new Jim Crow is now focusing on policing. Policing is our new way of the Jim Crow Act. And the new Jim Crow Act is clearly identifying that the policing system uh, jump out and frisk and stop and frisk. And all of this has to do with the new Jim Crow era, where they're continuing trying to tear down the structure of a black man and his family. And they're are incarcerating more of the young African American males than any other race out there in the United States. And this new Jim Crow era is placing us in prisons and behind bars and criminal cases. I am familiar with um, um police policies and jail and prisons and all of that nature, and it has captivated my mind because I noticed that young black man could be charged with a case as same as a young white Caucasian man, and the young black man will receive triple the amount of jail time than the young white man would. Well, for instance, I know a young man who was arrested for having 13 grams of crack cocaine, and he received 13 years, 1 year for every gram that he had placed in his possession. And a young white man was um, was caught with 4 ounces of crack cocaine, and the you need 28 grams, I do believe, to make an ounce. So, with all of that being said, and this young man received probation and was released, but a young black man had less crack than the white man had, and the black man received 13 years when the white man received 3 years probation. And both of them was first offense. Both of them, I'm not naming any names, but both of them were seen and charged by the same judge in courthouse in the same courtroom downtown Cleveland. And the young black man received an astronomical time, 13 years for a handful of controlled substance, when the white man had way more than what this young black man had. The young black man went to jail for 13 years, while the white man went home to his family. And later, I did understand that this young white man was faced in front of the same judge on several different occasions before they finally put him in behind bars. But the moral of the story is that young black men are incarcerated on a higher level than any other race in the United States. And that is because of this new Jim Crow era that's going on now, is still structuring to tear down the black family and the life of the life of our black men encounters with police officers is detrimental. In today's society, we are facing uh, a lot of deaths that's behind the gun of a white police officer in front of the gun, which is a young black man. And they are shooting and killing innocent young black men for least amount of crimes, such as a traffic violation, from driving the vehicle wrong, and our young black man is falling prey to that. And I'm not saying, and I don't want to get anybody twisted on what I'm trying to explain. Yes, there is black on black crime. Yes, there is black men are committing some hideous crimes. But what I'm trying to pinpoint in my presentation is that our black men are being incarcerated at a high level. Our African American men are being incarcerated at a high level, and this new Jim Crow law is to on their own hand and killing our young black men. So we are in a crossroad with a double standard of just being a black man. And I wanted us to understand that um, policy brief is to show us how we could actually put an end to uh, um, mass incarcerations and the death of our young black men, and would like to take this to the United States government so that a policy could be drawn that our government could take an equal opportunity in looking at our young African male when they come into um, uh, the presence of a police officer or a policing policy. And I'm hoping that something was said today that we could take uh, a hard look of how we could uh, make a difference in the United States when it comes to our African American males. So, with that being said, I'm hoping and praying that we could have a discussion on this and talk about it. Thank you very much for listening.